How you doing? This is Rick with Winders Ranger. I wanted to share an upgrade that I did to the shower inside the RV. I took out the existing plastic faucet and the fixture and everything that came with the unit itself. It had a rubber hose. This was plastic, and the shower head up above. And what I was having a problem with was there was a knob on this side and a knob on this side. This, of course, is cold. This side was hot. And what was happening is the hot water tank or hot water heater is actually right below the shower here, and that was constantly had a flow of hot water that was coming into the hot water valve, and it was making the hot water valve expand. And when that hot water valve expanded, it had a real bad case that when you would turn it on and off, it squeaked real bad back and forth. Is that a big deal operationally, as far as the whole camper is concerned? No, not really. But it's one of those kind of things that it gets under your skin a little bit, and the more you hear it, the more it kind of irritates you. So I decided to see if I could replace that whole fixture system with a residential faucet. The problem with doing that is adapting the shower hose to the end of the faucet. And I found a company online, I think I found them in Amazon actually, and I ended up buying the hose, the fixture, the adapter, and the shower head up above. The whole set came in a kit for like 30, it was all but 40 bucks. It's a high quality setup. The hose, it's a corrugated metal hose, probably stainless, I think. The fitting here, I think that's chromed brass, most likely. It may be bronze, I don't know, whatever. But it's got an adapter that can screw on to where the aerator used to be. And in this case, the threads, rather than being on the outside, the threads are on the inside of that. So it had to have another adapter in between this and this, which this company provided. What I did is I took the adapter with me and this piece into the hardware store, and I tried different fixtures until I found one that had actually threaded on correctly. I replaced the sink faucet inside the RV a while back with a residential version of the same thing, and the aerator is some sort of proprietary setup that I couldn't adapt to, so I ended up having to go with this one. This is a Delta faucet. So what I did, there's two PEX lines, the hot and cold lines come up in the wall here, and I took the plastic fittings that screw into the back of the original faucet, cut those off and replaced them with brass fittings. And then there's two braided lines from the hot water and the cold water side. They just do a loop in the back, and then they come into the supplies to the faucet here, so that way there's no chance, or minimal chance, of having a failure of those two fittings. Then on the shower head, what I had to do is the piece that is up on top there that actually holds the shower head into the wall, the one that was in here for the stock setup didn't fit or didn't work with this shower head, so I had to replace that. And then of course the shower head itself, that is out of this whole setup, that shower head is the only thing in this whole thing that's plastic, and even that is a better quality than what the one was that came with this unit originally. I found there's, I think, 3 water settings. There's a little knob on the bottom of the shower head there. You can rotate that right or left, and you get different spray patterns out of the shower head. So the way this operates, I don't know if I can get around where we can see it here. Let's see. There we go. There's a little handle here, and this handle rotates up and down. Right now it's set to supply water to this, which is really the only intended purpose here. It's designed that if this was in its normal orientation and the valve was sitting correctly on top of a countertop, this would be pointing down. So you would rotate this in the down position. I don't want to get water everywhere right now, but you rotate this in the down position, and around back here is a spigot, so the faucet can operate as it's originally intended, so the water would just come out back here in the back. So you could use it as a sink to wash your hands or whatever, maybe a utility sink in the garage or something like that. Say you had some kids come in, they got dirt on their shoes, or your dog, you want to wash your dog in a deep sink or whatever, you can flip this knob in the up position, and now you've got the spray nozzle, and you can use that. That's what it's designed for, is to transition between a sink and the shower nozzle. But in my purpose, I wanted to use it in the shower, to actually use it as a shower head, because they don't make a very good replacement shower fixture that I could find. So this setup here worked okay. This spigot is I think was made by Delta, I believe. It ran $75, I believe, for this particular setup. The two fittings, I had to get 90-degree fittings for the two PEX lines. I think they were like $3 a piece or something like that. The braided lines, I didn't pay attention to how much they were. Probably a couple of bucks. The whole thing came to just under $100 for the faucet, two fittings, and the braided lines, and then you've got another $40 for the setup here. So so far it worked well. I used it this morning, no problems, no complaints. This is a whole lot more sensitive, and the way this is installed, this handle, this is your on and off. You pull it out, it's on one way or the other to meter your hot water and cold water. You got to kind of be careful, because you tend, I tend to bump this, and then you got to reach down, turn it on, or you get it too hot, too cold, whatever. But I like it so far. It's a pretty good setup. I really like the quality that this setup here is. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody else doing something like this. I'm sure there's people out there that have. But if I have any issues with this, if there's some particular reason why nobody does this, and I find that out the hard way, I'll certainly make a video and let you know. But for right now, the squeak is definitely gone in my valve, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. And we'll keep you up to date, see how it works out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That'll keep you up to date on videos coming in the future. Also, hit that thumbs up. That really helps out a lot. That helps me steer the channel, and I know what content is doing well and what content isn't doing so well, and helps me decide where the channel should go in the future. So with all that said, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you all in the next video, and until then, take really good care of yourselves.